Live from the Grenadian capital, this is the GBN Television News. GBN, covering you from the Grenadine Island chain to Brooklyn, New York, via the World Wide Web on www.gbn.gd.
The news headlines is brought to you compliments GUT Credit Union.
These have been tough times, and we could all use a helping hand to get through this period. GUT Credit Union gives you the opportunity to do just that without a worry. What are you looking forward to? A relaxing staycation? Brand new appliances or devices? Consolidating your debt to get more money in your pocket? Not a member? No worries. Come in and find out how you too can make the most of this offer. Or visit us today. Yes, you can have a brighter Christmas season with GUT Credit Union. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Good evening and welcome to the GBN Network News for today, the 26th day of November 2020. It's Thanksgiving in the U.S. We say good evening to all of our viewers in the diaspora. In the headlines this evening, NDC political leader resigns, citing medical concerns. Bakery employees experience moments of terror as a colleague faces threat of sexual assault at gunpoint. Police investigating discovery of a corpse at Mama Khan's house. Another woman of Grenadian descent gets top honors in the UK. This time, the honor comes from the world's leading broadcast agency, the BBC. She shares her experiences this evening with GBN's Rena Pear. Grenada listed as one of Liat's profitable routes as they prepare to start services again next Monday. Beekeepers told to watch the trend of growing demand while production wanes. And in sports this evening, the Windies rack up 353 for 3 against New Zealand A on the opening day of the second warm-up match. And in Around the Globe this evening, Trelona Charles will fill us in on developments out of St. Lucia and Martinique, Trinidad and Tobago, and Brazil. We will bring you the details of these and other stories right after this message. This is GBN, the nation's news leader. This segment is brought to you by Quartz Grenada Limited.
This is it! Quartz is having an epic Black Friday weekend. It's the last call for mega Black Friday savings. This is your chance to experience unbelievable deals all weekend long. It's last call on TVs, washers and cookers, price up to 50% off. It's last call on amazing bedding and furniture offers. It's last call for 60% off all toys and inflatables. Last call for 40% off selected rugs and accessories. Plus fantastic doorbuster deals every day. Every day is Black Friday. You don't want to miss these epic final deals for the month of November. Offer valid for a limited time, Friday 27th to Sunday 29th. Conditions apply. See in store for details. COVID-19 protocols will be strictly enforced. Quartz, bringing value home.
And now for the news in detail. Political leader of the National Democratic Congress, Franca Alexis Bernardine, has resigned from her position, citing medical issues. Mrs. Alexis Bernardine, in the company of the party's chairman, Terence Moore, and the General Secretary, Glenn Noel, said the decision had to be made in the best interest of her health. And that story broke late this evening. Let's go across to the newsroom to Crystalina John.
News just in, political leader of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, Franca Alexis Bernardine, has tendered her resignation as leader of the party today, 26th November 2020.
It is with regret that I have taken the decision to step out of the politics for medical reasons. My doctors have indicated that the stress levels are too high and I run the risk of shortening my life. So I have come out. The stress is having a very negative impact on my health and has created a number of factors that will disappear if the stress factor is reduced. So I have little choice. For medical reasons, I must resign from both positions.
The announcement came just before 6 p.m.
The timing is good because 1 year ago, to date, to month, I assumed the responsibility of being the political leader and agreed to let it run for a period of a year so that I could see how things develop and how things are proceeding. I must say as well that it took me 9 months before that, careful evaluating, looking at the situation, the realities of what was before us before accepting such a position. So there's been careful deliberation at every stage of this. I want to say that NDC will always be my party. And it's largely because their core values and policies, their ethical values are consistent with my own. I believe in these concepts and ideas and philosophies. This is where my personal belief rests. Transparency and accountability, and above all, putting people first.
Alexis Bernardine was joined by party chairman and general secretary.
I wish the party well. I am right here and will lend whatever support I can when I can.
Christelina John, GBN News.
And as we mentioned, that news came in late this evening, and as GBN circulated the information, some feedback has started coming in on our social media platforms. And one person just said, wow. Another person says, you kidding me? Another person said, no surprise there. I wonder who they would blame now, Peter David or the Gang of Four. One female said, I was so looking forward to some female power. Another person put a surprise face. One person is asking, is NNP giving our work? One person says, my goodness, NDC done. That's some of the feedback coming into that breaking news story that came in late this evening. And moving on to a report of what would have been a harrowing experience for a couple of employees at a bakery in St. Andrew. While one employee was at the upper floor of the building yesterday, her colleague was at the mercy of a violent assailant. Camerawoman Bernadette Cornell Celestine and reporter Christelina John visited the scene today and sent us this report.
Workers at the village bakery are shaken as a masked man attempted to rape one of their fellow co-workers while on duty. The attempted incident happened around 3 p.m. Wednesday at the bakery's location in Lower Mamakan, St. Andrew. According to information reaching GBN, says the female victim was asked to strip and lay on the floor. However, her refusal to obey the instructions resulted in the culprit striking her with an object believed to be a gun. One co-worker who did not want to be identified spoke to GBN, adding there were 2 people in the building at the time of the alleged incident. However, one was on the upper floor of the building while the victim was on the lower floor. Police was summoned and a manhunt was mounted for the male suspected assailant. The co-worker says it's the first time something of that nature occurred, and now this has left them feeling very scared and uncomfortable. The victim had to seek medical attention and is said to be on sick leave. GBN contacted the Community Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force for information surrounding this alleged incident. However, up to news time, this information was not forthcoming. Christelina John, GBN News.
But police are also following up on another matter at Mamakan. The case was brought to their attention by the brother of a deceased man. Let's go back to Christelina John, who ran some checks on that story and compiled this report.
A family of Mamakan St. Andrew is in disbelief after a regular visit resulted in a brother finding his brother dead in his home. GBN visited the family Thursday morning to speak with members of that family. However, they said they are not emotionally strong to do so. The body of Ranjit Japal, believed to be in his early 50s, was found last evening at his home in Mamakan, St. Andrew. According to a source close to the deceased, Japal's body was discovered by his brother sometime around 6:30 Wednesday, lying on his kitchen floor. According to the source, Japal was described as a nice individual who worked most of his life. The deceased was the father of one. An autopsy will be carried out to determine the actual cause of death. Christelina John, GBN News.
And now we move on to some good news. Last night we broke the news that Liat is returning to Grenada and other Eastern Caribbean islands next Monday. We continue to follow that story this evening. And as we'll hear in this report, Grenada is listed among the airline's most profitable routes. Jamie Rocha reports from ABS Antigua, where Liat is headquartered.
We are calling it a soft launch, and one of the reasons for that is that we are going to have to get an understanding of where the market is.
Liat's Director of Flight Operations, Captain Arthur Senhouse, discussing the airline's new flight schedule set to begin next Monday. He says data show there is still demand for Liat's service, and the ultimate plan is to move people from as far north as Puerto Rico down to Guyana. The first part of the new service, though, will run from November 30 to December 14 and will include stops in St. Kitts, Antigua, Dominica, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent, and Grenada.
They are some of our most profitable routes. Also, most of those islands lie within the OECS framework, so there are some standards that are common across those islands, and we're depending on the fact that the commonality will give us that platform and foundation so that we can launch and expand from each of those as they demand.
He says Tortola and Guyana are expected to be added December 15. The flight will run from Thursday to Monday with an average of 6 flights per day.
Our main effort is to ensure that once you board a Liat flight on whichever day of the week you choose between Thursday and Monday, we are going to get you to your destination without you having to lay over in a different country, unlike some of the other carriers that are in the market at the moment.
Captain Senau says one of the challenges will be to navigate the rapid changes in the COVID protocols among the destinations. Meanwhile, the airline will be operating with a much leaner staff complement, a total of 163 workers compared to the 667 pre-pandemic. This includes 12 pilots, a close to 90% reduction when compared to the 109 who were previously employed with the carrier.
Meanwhile, Liat remains attractive to investment, and 5 entities are being courted as potential partners. Discussions are already in train, and the court-appointed administrator is seeking more time to complete the negotiations. We get more in this report from ABS's Andy Liburd.
Several options were on the table when Cleveland Seaforth was appointed administrator to the beleaguered carrier back in July. Investment is paramount, with 5 entities showing interest. Seaforth will be seeking more time, between 3 to 6 months, from the court to complete his negotiations with them.
We are saying that based on where we are with discussions with prospective investors, of whom we have 5 of them who have expressed an interest, we felt we needed more time to sit down and have discussions with them to try and reach an agreement.
He reports that negotiations have reached to the point of discussing a memorandum of understanding with 2 of the stronger contenders, but he wants to be assured they have the necessary financial backing.
Where we have sat down and gone through and discussed the topics where we would want to get involved in more discussions so they can reach an agreement with the government of Antigua. From my perspective, I'm asking at this stage to show me proof of funds, and so that is the stage where we are at the moment.
Of the 5 prospects, 2 are airlines and the other 3 are private investors, eyeing a potentially rewarding venture. Seaforth says governments in the Caribbean are also maintaining interest.
The 5 by themselves do not involve any of the governments. However, there are the governments within the region who have expressed an interest as being part of the joint venture agreement between a private sector investor and the government of Antigua and Barbuda.
And the months ahead will be telling in how quickly the negotiations can move in a direction that pulls the airline away from the possibility of liquidation and keep the regional carrier flying.
And the good news continues this week. What we can tell you this evening is that another black woman of Grenadian heritage is being highly recognized and has been awarded in the UK for her work and contribution in London. Miranda Lowe has been chosen for the communicators category of the BBC's Woman's Hour Power List 2020. It's a power list that celebrates 30 high-achieving women based in the UK. Miranda spoke with GBN's Rena Pear via Zoom today.
Women's Hour is a BBC Radio 4 show with a weekly audience of over 3.5 million people. Each year, the public will choose 30 women who are making meaningful contributions towards a sustainable planet. Their work ranges from volunteering in community gardens to influencing global policies. Miranda Lowe, whose mother is a Grenadian, is one of the 30 women featured in BBC's Power Hour 2020 list. An expert in marine science, Miranda has been taking care of historically important specimens at the London National History Museum for over 30 years. Getting onto the Power Hour list has not come easily, and it's a major accomplishment.
It was amazing. It was such an honour. I was close to tears because this was voted for by the UK public. So that for me is really special. It's not just by my peers and that work in my sector, but with the public it shows how much my outreach, how much I'm involved within the community, in particular within the Black community here in the UK. So they're inspired by it, so they can care as well. And so they might visit places such as Grenada.
She has made appearances on a number of digital platforms, including an episode of Natural Histories on BBC Radio 4 and British Whale Hunters. Miranda believes in communicating her passion for nature and the environment with the next generation.
And I do a lot of environmental work concerning the oceans, but I'm also very enthusiastic to share my knowledge and work with young people to understand the oceans in particular, but also the environment around them, so in terms of the plants and the landscapes, and giving young people opportunity to experience the outdoors and nature. So we want more Black people to strive to have positions in science and understanding about caring about the oceans, and for more jobs to be created about that as well.
During our conversation via Zoom today, she spoke about her passion for raising awareness about the contributions made by Black people in natural history. She is hoping to make a contribution to Grenada in the future.
If I come to Grenada, I would love to visit a lot of the local museums there, as well as bringing my experience of the collections that I work with. I want to work with people that also have the live knowledge too, because it's a beautiful island, and there's so much there, so much knowledge to learn and collaborate with the other scientists and museum workers in Grenada too. So that's what I would love to do when I next come down to kind of meet the people that work in that area of natural history, science, oceanographic work, on board the ship, sort of sailing out to sea and things like that, and a lot of marine biological stations, I'm sure, on the island.
The producers of the Woman's Our Power list salute her for what they termed her vast and impressive efforts in effectively communicating with a wide range of audience, promoting diversity and bringing about real positive changes to communities. For GBN News, I am Rena.
Hats off there. Earlier this week, we told you about attorney Jacqueline McKenzie, who was placed 7th on the UK's 2020 Power List, which was topped by Lewis Hamilton, who is also of Grenadian descent. We say kudos to them and we celebrate with their families and friends. This is Network News. Coming up, media personality Aruna Neptune is charged for vandalism, and she speaks of hindsight and reflections on her actions. We'll bring you that after the break.
Christmas is happening. Christmas is happening. Christmas is happening at Republic Bank. Low interest rate happening. Quick approval happening. Christmas time happening at Republic Bank.
And 2020 on a merry note at Republic Bank as we spread the holiday cheer with our Make It Happen loans. Republic Bank is here to lighten up your spirit with quick approvals and cash prizes valued at over $10,000.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Christmas in Grenada plus Flow equals a tablet for your family. Get a Samsung A7 tablet for only $80 when you add your mobile to your home services bundle. Save 30% on your mobile bill and spend the holidays connected with faster internet speeds. Call us today at 1-800-804-2994 and sign up.
2, 3, 7. If you want to check the Grand Lac balance on your phone or report a faulty line,
emergency, take out your phone. These are 3 numbers that you should know. 237. Call me anytime. I'm always on the line. 237. Just call me anytime. I'm always on the line. 237.
Ho, ho, ho! Are you looking for some early cash this Christmas?
Yes!
Then you gotta play Waggity Virtual Bingo. The 11th edition is on Sunday, November 29th from 6 p.m. This time you can win not 10, but $20,000 US. What? Yes, you can win US $20,000. And tickets cost only $20 US. Get yours now at gotofed.com or from any box offices island-wide. Join the fun and excitement online on Sunday, November 29th and win US $20,000. Play Waggity Virtual Bingo, the new way to play bingo.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, Daisy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016. Or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
When I need shelter, warmth, security, I know you'll be there. Something in these moments lets me know you care. Maybe the way you shield me, maybe it's your smiles and the way you tell me it's okay to try. Now I'm invincible. I can pack my sack. I can take the long road, 'cause it's okay to look back if I am scared. I know you're there. Arise, together there's no limit to what we can do. Arise, with no wings, fly. Arise, and we're so high, enjoy the view. Arise, look, no wings, fly.
This is Ariza, your financial freedom, your future.
GBN leads, the others follow. This segment is brought to you by Republic Bank.
Christmas is happening. Christmas is happening. Christmas is happening at Republic Bank. Low interest rate happening. Quick approval happening. Christmas time happening at Republic Bank.
And 2020 on a merry note at Republic Bank as we spread the holiday cheer with our Make It Happen loans. Republic Bank is here to lighten up your spirit with quick approvals and cash prizes valued at over $10,000.
Christmas is happening at Republic Bank.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
And welcome back. And beekeepers in Grenada and other Caribbean islands have been told that there's a worrying trend. The concern surrounds the decline in production while there's an increased demand for the region's honey. That was one of the issues brought to the fore as the 10th Caribbean Beekeeping Congress continued in St. Lucia today. This morning's session featured presenters from Grenada and Trinidad and Tobago. We get the details in this report from Natalie Jolie Fannis.
It's been a very insightful and informative discussion.
Day 2 of the 10th Caribbean Beekeeping Congress began with concern over the future of beekeeping in the Caribbean and its impact on food security.
And so there's this intimate link. When we start talking about bee health and worry about colony collapse, etc., it's because of this link between beekeeping and agriculture and those pollination services. So if you have problems with your honeybees, it means that you're going to see a decline in agricultural production.
Scientist Valma Jessamy of Grenada encouraged the integration of beekeeping into agriculture and urged farmers to cultivate plants that bees can feed on. Dr. Jessamy was also concerned about a decline in beekeeping and honey production at a time when demand was growing globally.
Over the past 5 or more years, there's been a steady decline in the output of honey, even though there's been a steady increase in demand. And so that's an opportunity for countries who are exporting natural honey.
Dr. Jessamy also called for more research into apiculture, a sentiment echoed by Giles Romulus, the national coordinator of the Global Environment Fund in St. Lucia.
Without research, we are lost.
Definitely.
Almost, because we can't make the kind of sound decisions for the progress of our economies.
The second presentation for the morning went deeper into pollination. It was felt that the contribution of pollination to agriculture was seriously undervalued to the detriment of agriculture and food production.
So we don't really tend to consider pollination as an agricultural input. And as a consequence, people are not taking care of it and not managing it properly.
It was revealed that not all pollinators are bees. Flies, wasps, bats, birds, bugs, beetles, and lizards are also pollinators and so have a role to play in any successful agricultural enterprise.
There's very little knowledge about pest species on a whole, which means that people just tend to spray broad spectrum pesticides, which kills everything. The thing is, we do not know what we have, so we don't even know what we're losing, and that is the biggest issue.
There is worry that many valuable species are being lost due to the widespread use of pesticides and herbicides, housing and other developments, and deforestation.
Media personality Aruna Neptune has been granted bail by local police. The 42-year-old media personality of Marion St. George was granted bail in the sum of $5,000 after being charged by the police yesterday. Neptune was arrested and charged by officers of the Criminal Investigation Department on 2 counts of damage to property. She was taken into custody after reports of her causing damage to a vehicle in the vicinity of St. George. She has secured the services of attorney Derek Sylvester. Referencing the chatter created by the news of her arrest on her program this morning, Neptune said she's had some time to reflect on her actions.
Something would have transpired, and of course, you know, my whole thing is ownership, being responsible, being mature, to say, you know what, I messed up. And in hindsight, you probably say, you know what, I should have handled the situation differently, or I should have done this or done that. Because being here, I can understand the disappointment from some, because, you know, they see you every day and they have you up there. And people expect certain things from you when you're in certain positions. So I can safely say that I'm disappointed in myself on that level, because people expect you to vibrate higher. At the end of the day, when you're an adult, you're supposed to know how to handle things differently. And I really want to apologize to the individuals concerned, because at the end of the day, this could have been handled differently.
In more news from the police, a bus conductor of Belmont has been arrested and charged by officers of the Special Victims Unit for sexually assaulting a minor. 22-year-old Kent Granger was granted bail in the sum of $20,000 with one surety. He will appear in court on March 11th next year. Meanwhile, Shane Dominique, who was charged for stealing from a dwelling house, a firearm and its ammunition, was remanded to Her Majesty's prison after his first court appearance. And it's time to move on now to some health news. GBN Health Report. It focuses tonight on strokes. Experts say it can drastically change the mind and the body. Symptoms may differ among individuals, but many experiences are similar. Tonight on GBN's Health, we learn more about this chronic ailment from Dr. Sonia Nixon.
When you need your prescription filled or you require non-prescribed medication, supplements, or all your personal needs, visit Gittins Healthcare at locations on Wall Street, Grand Anse, Victoria Street, Brentwood, and Central Deputy Street, Wall. Gittins Healthcare aims to provide an exceptional personalized pharmacy experience. Additionally, children under 5 and adults 55 years and over will enjoy 10% discount on purchases of $20 and over on prescription medication. Stop settling for less. Visit Gittins Healthcare, where your health is our priority.
A stroke is an ailment that affects the arteries leading to and within the brain. It is the 5th cause of death and disability worldwide. It occurs when a blood vessel that carries oxygen and nutrients to the brain is either blocked by a blood clot or bursts. When this happens, part of the brain cannot get the blood it needs, so the brain cells die. Because a stroke occurs rapidly and requires immediate attention, it is also called a brain attack. A stroke which only lasts for a short time is called a transient ischemic attack. Dr. Sonia Nixon outlined some of the symptoms.
It's called FAST. Facial problems where the face is drooping, you can't feel, you're not able to speak, your arms are heavy, you can't do stuff, your speech gets a little slurred. You have to act in time, FAST. Time is of the essence, and the person should be taken into an emergency room to be seen. Because most times you probably can do something, not just to mitigate a stroke if it's going to happen, maybe you already have a little damage, but at least to ensure that large, big damage doesn't occur.
While there is no particular age for someone to suffer from a stroke, it is most common in persons 65 years and over, especially among people of African descent. Dr. Nixon lists some of the proactive measures that can be taken to lessen someone's chance of having a stroke.
It's very important that we control our blood pressure and our diabetes, because diabetes on its own will actually cause a lot of damage to our blood vessels. So we have to make sure that we control our diabetes and the hypertension in our environment. I think that's one of the most important things. That's one of the causes. I think in our environment, hypertension, elevated blood pressure is probably what's most common and causes us to have to get strokes.
As the Christmas season approaches, Nixon encourages persons to watch their salt intake and eating habits.
But for the things we know, I'm going to ask people, and Christmas is coming, and we all eat and drink and want to be merry, even in our little groups, because we supposed to do it with the people in our house and Zoom and do it on Zoom with everybody else, right? For in this time of COVID. But remember that if we indulge a little too much, we might get ourselves into trouble, and we still have to take our medications if we have high blood pressure and diabetes and do the lifestyle thing that we're asked to do.
Experts warn that you should not delay if you feel sick or think there's something seriously wrong. Taking too long to seek medical attention can result in acute alignments and even death. For GBN News, I am Rina Pear reporting.
And it's time to check in with our Social Buzz correspondent, Trelawna Charles.
Welcome back to Social Buzz. Tonight we look at the opinions of our online viewers about this comment made by Grenada's Prime Minister.
I'm amazed. Even this morning I'm listening to the minister on my program, and a question being asked about the possibility of China taking over Grenada, major infrastructure, because of one loan. Where we really poor, you know. One loan and a country can lose its entire birthright. We ain't so cheap.
As always, our viewers were quick to share their thoughts. Diane said, Grenadians expressing their concerns are not paranoid nor anti-government. We read international news and know how China operates. The government's track record is well documented. Shirin responded, the Prime Minister is basically saying the country is rich. But for a country whose main revenue is tourism, and currently tourism is at a decline, where is the bulk of the revenue coming from? With the upgrades, are more airliners going to be coming in to help with the loan repayments? Brian agreed. He said, talk is cheap, Mr. Prime Minister. You are at liberty to say anything. Based on the financial outlook and state of our economy, we know for a fact Grenada doesn't have the ability to pay back that loan at this time. If Grenada is unable to meet the repayment conditions, the country can face a problem with the airport falling into Chinese hands in foreclosure, as has been the case for countries in Africa. Another concerned individual said, people are voicing their concerns, which can be a reality. The Chinese are not denying it can be a possibility. Why can't they see that? There are ports in Sri Lanka that were seized by China and are now Chinese owned and managed because the country could not repay Chinese loans. This is not a joke. Prime Minister Mitchell should take the concerns of the masses more serious. One person had a different suggestion. She said, better to refurbish community health centers versus that huge airport project. That's it for tonight's Social Buzz. As always, if you would like to have your views shared, be sure to comment on GBN's Facebook page.
And Trelawney shared what our viewers and listeners have been saying. It's time to check in on what our citizen journalists have been seeing.
A good eye captures all. GBN Eyesore is brought to you by Clear Vision.
You know us, but we knew. You feel at home with every visit. An experienced team offering personalized courtier service and trendy brand name lifestyle products. We're changing the vision care landscape one customer at a time. Clear Vision Eye Center. People and technology coming together to help you see the world with a clearer vision.
Tonight's Eyesore, the grade 5 students of the Limes Mennonite School are sharing their social studies project with us. It is an Amerindian Taino hut. Bohíos is the Taino word for thatched roof home, of which there are actually 3 styles. One is a lean-to called Guaraquitan, made when a quick shelter is needed. Another style is called Cani, more specifically a cacique home. These were made in a square or rectangular fashion. And there is the Bohío, which the Spanish chroniclers wrote were rounded homes for the Nabaria villagers. There's always something to learn or be reminded of, so thank you to the Limes Mennonite School for refreshing some memories and educating others. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp on 405-3052 and any of our other social media platforms.
Very interesting submission there. And still ahead from us this evening, $2 million to help combat COVID-19 challenges. We'll tell you about that after the break.
This is it! Quartz is having an epic Black Friday weekend. It's the last call for mega Black Friday savings. This is your chance to experience unbelievable deals all weekend long. It's last call on TVs, washers, and cookers, priced up to 50% off. It's last call on amazing bedding and furniture offers. It's last call for 60% off all toys and inflatables. Last call for 40% off selected rugs and accessories. Plus, fantastic doorbuster deals every day. Every day is Black Friday. You don't want to miss these epic final deals for the month of November. Offer valid for a limited time, Friday 27th to Sunday 29th. Conditions apply. See in store for details. COVID-19 protocols will be strictly enforced. Quartz, bringing value home.
this holiday season. Let Juve bring you 100% joy with its magical chocolate products. Holidays from the management and staff of Juve Chocolate. Juve Chocolate, raise your bar.
Real Value IGA Supermarket, serving our community. Think Real Value IGA Supermarket today. Real Value IGA Supermarket keeps the savings flowing when you use your Real Value IGA Supermarket frequent shopper card.
Excuse me, ma'am, do you have a shopper card? Sure.
Real Value IGA Supermarket, where good food begins.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements? Or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 for 18-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Fallage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Introducing the new Digicel Prime Bundle. It's simply more bundled together. 54 gigs for 7 days for only $25. More data, more fun. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
Tropical shipping is fast and reliable. Always on time, safe and affordable. Friendly staff here to connect you. Tropical worldwide, you must get you. Shop online and you get it on time. Hassle free to meet your deadline. Consolidate any size, any load with tropical shipping, so we ship everything. I can't wait to ship with tropical. I can't wait. No package too big, too small. I cannot wait to ship with tropical. No package too big, too small. Just ship with tropical.
Local agents, George F. Huggins and Company, Grenada Limited. Telephone number 440-8787 or visit our website at www.tropical.com. Email us at grenadasales@tropical.com. Tropical Shipping, committed to island life.
This is GBN. We've got the means, the power, and the medium. This segment is brought to you by Flow.
Your hard work, talent, and creativity, plus Flow, equals more ways to chase your dreams. Flow is connecting all of Grenada, from Point Salines to Hillsborough, with the most reliable connection on the island. So now everyone can work, study, and keep moving forward together. Visit discoverflow.co for more information.
And welcome back. Grenada will strengthen its response to the COVID-19 pandemic with a $2.5 million aid from the World Bank. The financing will be used to purchase critical supplies, including personal protective equipment for healthcare workers and laboratory supplies. Some of the funds will also be used to enhance preparedness and surveillance systems at ports of entry. According to Health Minister Nicholas Steele, these funds were accessed under the Contingency Emergency Response component of the fund.
So that is being used, for instance, it's being for surveillance officer in one case through Pan American Health Organization, It is paying for some of the PPEs. It is paying for the various improvements that we've made at the General Hospital, having a COVID wing. It is going to be paying for some of the ventilators where necessary. But in general, it is used across the board to assist in budgetary support for the expense of dealing with COVID-19.
The agency will also deploy up to $160 billion in financial support over 15 months to help more than 100 countries protect the poor and vulnerable and support businesses together with bolstering economic recovery. This includes $50 billion of new IDEA resources through grants and highly concessional loans. And moving ahead this evening, the minister has also been commented on Grenada's campaign to get rid of dengue, and the health minister says Grenada to date has recorded 300 cases. Speaking on GBN's To The Point program on Wednesday, Minister Steele gave an update on the situation.
We are much higher in 2020 than 2019. 2018 was one of the years, the highest years on record. We haven't crossed that as yet. I do hope that we do not cross that. 2020 has had more rainfall and more extended rainfall than 2019, and that's one of the factors because it is a vector-borne disease. But I would say, and we shouldn't use this to find a level of complacency or comfort, but that it is not out of control. We are still managing to control dengue, but we are still seeing cases of dengue. And in our opinion, one case is one case too many, because any one of those cases could end up with some hospitalization or death. So we need to work together to get to zero.
And still to come from us, the Windies rack up 353 for 3 against New Zealand A on the opening day of the second warm-up match. And in around the globe, Trelawna Charles will fill us in on developments in St. Lucia, Martinique, Trinidad, and Brazil. Those are straight ahead.
Communal, we are adapting to meet the changing needs of our shareholders and members. Times are changing, and with the changing times comes a whole new way to do business. Our parents may have done their banking a different way. Communal's state-of-the-art online banking and international debit card allows members to do business with great ease. It's like literally having a branch in your very own hands. Need a loan? Apply online from the comfort of your own home anywhere in the world, and your request will be dealt with remotely. Want to transfer between your accounts or another shareholder? No wait time for transactions to update. Voila! Who needs receipts when you can receive them via e-statements on your mobile device and save the environment? Not a communal member? You can join our family today by applying online. At Communal, we see you working hard to ensure that you save, invest, and grow. Communal. Join us today. This will be the best financial decision you have ever made.
It's new, innovative and classy, and it cut above the rest. Your one-stop shop for bathtubs, kitchenette, customized doors and windows, and even a new paint job. We also sell quartz and solid surface countertops. At M&N Hardware, we offer best prices, excellent service, efficiency, and reliability. Visit us at Dusty Highway, Grandin, St. George, or call telephone number 440-6757. M&N Hardware, from foundation to roof. Let's build together.
Ovio.com. Sale. All the outlets, hotspot outlets. You're going to go to the Carnage, the Grenville, or the Sutter's hotspot, and you get sales and deals on all items. You can get these on potato, you can get these on saltfish, onion, garlic, mackerel, toilet paper, and we even have the currants and the raisin at $10 per pound, lowest price island-wide. So people just come down or go up or go across, but just make sure and go to hotspots.
Ho, ho, ho! Are you looking for some early cash this Christmas?
Yes!
Then you gotta play Waggy T Virtual Bingo. The 11th edition is on Sunday, November 29th from 6 p.m. This time you can win not 10 but $20,000. What? Yes, you can win US $20,000 and tickets cost only $20. Get yours now at gotofed.com or from any box offices island-wide. Join the fun and excitement online on Sunday, November 29th and win US $20,000. Play Waggy T Virtual Bingo, the new way to play bingo.
The Food Fair offers quality foods at affordable prices. Now, with our improved web store, you can make all your purchases from the comfort of your home. It's so simple, easy to log in and navigate, safe and secure transactions, and a quick checkout. All your grocery needs at your fingertips. Convenient and reliable. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Keeping an eye on the weather, this is GBN. We've got you covered.
Tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy, too cloudy with light to moderate scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorm. A low chance of flash flooding. Tonight's minimum temperature 23 degrees Celsius. Wind easterly at 10 to 12 miles per hour, gusting higher with showers. Seas moderate, waves 4 to 6 feet in open water. Tides low at 8:15 p.m. and high at 2:15 a.m. And now for a look at the 3-day forecast. Friday's weather is expected to be cloudy with light to moderate scattered showers and a low chance of isolated thunder showers, mainly during the morning and overnight. Saturday's weather is expected to be partly cloudy with isolated to scattered showers. On Sunday, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy at first with a low chance of isolated showers becoming fair during the afternoon.
Good evening, sporting fans. We start off today with results of games played in the GFA Cup. The promising matchup between Hard Rock and Camahan failed to live up to expectations as FC Camahan could not field enough players. Hard Rock won by default. The other game, which was on the schedule, ended in a 5-0 thrashing of Sab Spartans by Paradise. Fountainaire United also handed a 5-0 defeat to their opponents, Honved. Springs beat Willis Youths 2-0, and SAFL and Montreach ended in a 1-all draw. Tempe All Blacks won their encounter 3-1 over Bellevue Rangers. Now to news from the Windies Tour of New Zealand. Craig Brathwaite produced an unbeaten 100 and Darren Bravo just missed out on his second of the tour. The West Indies racked up 353 for 3 against New Zealand A on the opening day of the second warm-up match at the John Davis Oval in Queenstown. The Barbadian openers shared an opening stand of 111 with John Campbell. Campbell made a relatively brisk 45 from just 62 balls before he was bowled by Blair Tickner. The Jamaican struck 8 boundaries during his 106-minute stay at the crease. Bravo joined Brathwaite and together they mounted a 189-run stand that put New Zealand A on the defensive. Brathwaite's 100 came up to 139 balls, during which he hit 8 fours and a 6. Bravo hit 6 fours while bringing up his 50 in 90 balls. And now let's cross over to our sister station, TV6, where our man of sports, James Saunders, brings us more sporting highlights.
All right, it's cricket that comes out of the dugout, and it's a go as the West Indies players who competed in the IPL, well, they've been cleared to join up with the rest of the team. A release from Cricket West Indies says that the players tested negative for COVID-19 with their third and final test at their managed isolation facility. They will now leave the facility in Christchurch and travel to Auckland as they continue preparations for the first T20 International on Friday. Captain Kieron Pollard will lead the team in the opening match against New Zealand at Eden Park. And Test captain Jason Holder, however, will travel to Queenstown to play in the 4-day warm-up match against New Zealand A at John Davies Oval. Well, at the moment, the Windies, they are currently in a tour match and they're batting and with 87 for no loss, with Craig Brathwaite on 46 and John Campbell getting some runs, and he is on 39. Well, we spoke about one captain, and we talk about another now, as the West Indies T20 captain, Kieron Pollard, well, he's pleased with what he's achieved so far in his cricketing career. Pollard would lead the West Indies in the 3-game T20 series against New Zealand starting on November 27th. He was a guest on a radio show hosted by Andre Errol Batiste.
I've actually been happy in what I've been able to achieve. I'm happy, in the fact that I got the opportunity to play around the world. Different experiences, even when I was out of the international team. One thing that I did pretty well was challenge my energy in a positive direction. So even there and then, I was still happy. Yes, you thought that you wanted to still play, but I was satisfied in my mind, and even now I think I'm very, very happy and satisfied in my mind, and I think that's one of the reasons as well that helps me go out and just perform or just enjoy what I'm doing. Even if you score runs or you don't score any runs, it's just a matter of that feeling of stepping onto the cricket field.
All right, it's a hip and hooray for this next chap, as Jovin Jones and the Seattle Sounders, well, they are into the semifinals of the Western Conference in the MLS playoff, that is. Well, Jones played 70 minutes before being substituted as the defending champions took a 3-1 win over LAFC at Lumen Field.
Who extends his extraordinary record.
Defending champions of the Seattle Sounders were the favourites heading into the contest against LAFC, and they opened their account at home at Lumen Field in the 18th minute. Raul Rui Diaz's cross laid off by Jordan Morris for Nicolas Lodero with this one-time shot.
And they've got the early goal.
LAFC had an opportunity to respond immediately when Carlos Vela craftily drew a penalty from Nuhu. It looked like Vela who made the contact.
But it was the touch by
the Mexican striker, however, could not deceive goalkeeper Stefan Fry from the spot. The second half, Seattle stepped it up, clearing space to create an opportunity. Morris on this occasion missed a wide open goal. He probably thought he would not get on the score sheet, striking the bar next. Lodero too rocked the post. Sounders finally got it right in the 66th. The unmarked Rui Diaz firing home at the far post, 2-0. LAFC made things interesting with less than 15 minutes to go. Vela turned the provider with a perfect ball for Edward Atuesta to slide in 2-1. Seattle responded soon after with a quick counter. Rui Diaz releasing Morris, who finally got his name on the score sheet, slotting one past the keeper. 3-1. Sounders advanced to face FC Dallas on Tuesday. This encounter went as planned. The two other matches last night saw major upsets. Philadelphia Union, who held the best record in the MLS, were beaten 2-0 at home by the New England Revolution, while expansion team Nashville SC upset Toronto FC with a lone goal coming from substitute striker Daniel Rios in extra time. Vindication for Nashville, who had 3 goals disallowed for offside during the game.
Well, Europe hugs the spotlight now, and there were several matches in the UEFA Champions League today, and there was lots of goals as Bayern Munich beat Salzburg 3-1, while another German team, Borussia Mönchengladbach, well, they took care of Shakhtar Donetsk 4-0. Spanish teams also did well as Real Madrid got the better of Inter Milan 2-0, while Atletico Madrid kept a point with a goalless draw against Lokomotiv Moscow. Elsewhere, Porto were 2-0 winners over Marseille, while Ajax picked up a 3-1 win, but it was a mixed bag for English teams as Man City, they edged Olympiacos 1-0, but former champs Liverpool, well, they were humbled 2-0 by Atalanta. We've got a wrap.
Atalanta were away to Liverpool, but it didn't stop the Italians from winning. They got the opener on the hour mark. And in the 64th, Atlanta made it game, set and match as this one finished 2-0. Manchester City were in winners' row, edging Olympiacos 1-0, with Phil Foden getting a 36th minute item. Inter Milan were at home to Real Madrid, with the Spanish side coming out on top. Eden Hazard opened the scoring from the penalty spot. And the second came in the 59th as this one ended 2-0 to Real. and defending champions Bayern Munich came out on top against Salzburg. The German club got the better of their opponents 3-1. Vinod Narwani, TV6 Sport.
Moments live on forever in the archives of our Play of the Day.
Do you remember the time Diego Maradona flummoxed the England team in 1986? Gone but not forgotten. The legend gets tonight's TV6 Play of the Day.
For tonight's regional news, we travel around the globe to see what's happening, starting with St. Lucia, where 5 nationals were rescued west of Martinique after a harrowing ordeal at sea. The men, including 2 captains and the grandson of the island's national security minister, are cooperating with French authorities.
According to information obtained by NBC Prime, a boat which left Martinique for St. Lucia encountered engine problems. The boat had been drifting on the west coast of Martinique when occupants placed a distress call. However, an alarm was raised after a local vessel which left Port Denry to respond to the distress call failed to return to port. It has been confirmed that due to the rough seas, the rescue boat sank. The rescuers became the rescued as all 3 occupants boarded the original vessel. A call was made at 12:30 p.m. on November 24th to the Marine Police Unit in St. Lucia, informing authorities about the incident. As a result, Marine Police authorities in St. Lucia contacted the Rescue Coordinating Center in Martinique for further assistance. 2 nationals were on board vessel number 1, the captain of the boat and the grandson of the island's national security minister. According to information obtained, the grandson in question had been in Martinique for over a period of time and desperately wanted to return to St. Lucia. National Security Minister Herman Gil Francis has confirmed it was his grandson on the distress boat and told NBC Prime that had the vessel turned out successful on its mission, his grandson would have felt the full brunt of the law. A French customs boat towed the boat back to Martinique with 5 St. Lucia nationals on board. It is still not certain whether the men were attempting to enter the island illegally. However, local and French authorities are investigating the matter. Cecil Axel, NBC Prime.
In last night's I Saw report, we brought you pictures of an unusual event. It was the talk of the town, another first for 2020. So, what is this unusual event? A dead man was put in a sitting position to attend his own funeral. Here's a report from TV6.
It was an unexpected scene at mid-morning, stunning motorists who had full view of a body decked in a suit seated in the tray of a moving hearse. At the St. John's Evangelist Church in Diego Martin, Che Lewis sat on a chair outside of his own funeral, inanimmately greeting everyone who attended the service, while the body of his father, Adlai Lewis, was placed in a coffin inside the church in traditional fashion.
It might seem different to some, shocking to others, but for the family and loved ones of Che Lewis, they wanted him to be remembered just as closely as possible to the life that he would have lived.
As a king, as a father, as a friend,
as an uncle.
The request for the style of embalming was made to Danny's funeral home, which is owned by 4 brothers, ages 30 and under. Managing Director Kochi Styler Danny, who operates under the banner "Every life is unique, so every funeral should be unique," says it was an opportunity to fulfill an aspiration that has never before been done or seen in TNT.
We have a list of things that we want to put out there to the public. This was one of the stuff on our list, so we would have done our homework way before the request, and we know exactly what to do. We know exactly how to embalm the deceased, exactly how to place him on the chair.
I know you would have driven him through the streets before coming to the church. What has that response been like?
The response has been very good because we have because people haven't seen this before. They are very inclined to it. Some people even call the funeral home and ask that if when they die, if they could be placed standing rather than sitting. Some call and say that they ride motorcycles and they're going to be placed on a motorcycle.
However, not everyone was as enthusiastic. Church officials indicated that they were surprised and were instructed by the priest to call the police ahead of the service. Some residents were even perturbed at the sight.
Not everyone accepts change, right? But change is inevitable. As I told you, we are young people, so we can't just go with what our grandfathers and our forefathers would have done before. So hence we are changing things around.
And the brothers aren't planning to stop there.
One more new thing that we are going to come onto the market with, which I would share with the public, is something known as aquamation. So people should research it. It is a form of cremation without fire, but this time we are using a process known as alkaline hydrolysis to decay a body without fire, and we're just using water this time.
According to Danny, that is far more environment friendly. If you're wondering about cost, a standard funeral at Danny's funeral home starts at $8,000. But for the level of embalming performed for Lewis's preparation to be a success, that cost ranges from $45,000 to $60,000. Adlai and Che Lewis were asleep in their Diego Martin home when they were shot to death on November 14th. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
The death of a black man after being beaten by supermarket security guards in the city of Porto Alegre on the eve of the Black Consciousness Day has sparked outrage across Brazil. The protests echo this past year's demonstrations in the U.S.
Every day since the death of João Alberto, the same scene has been repeated in front of Carrefour stores all over Brazil. Like George Floyd in the United States, he too was suffocated by security guards at a Carrefour supermarket. The protesters' slogan echoes the one chanted in the demonstrations in the United States. These Brazilians are determined that their mobilization will have an impact.
We want accountability not only for the people directly involved, but also for the directors of Carrefour Brazil. We are here on the streets and we will not move until the final consequence, which is the departure of the CEO of Carrefour Brazil.
The French company already has a long history of violence and racist behavior by its security agents in Brazil. Very embarrassed, Carrefour broadcast this message on the national news.
The extent of this tragedy is beyond me as a privileged white man that I am. First of all, I offer my condolences to the family of João Alberto.
By a sad irony of the calendar, the day after the death of João Alberto, Brazil commemorated the National Day of Black Consciousness, a date ignored by the government of Jair Bolsonaro, which denies the existence of structural racism in the country. In Rio, what happened to João Alberto has an echo in hundreds of cases of police violence. 80% of the victims are black. Young people from poor neighbourhoods, like Pablo, fear the police. But in a country where more than half of the population are black or mixed race, well, those protesting wish the mobilisation could be as strong as in the United States.
And that's it for tonight's trip around the world. Up next, a reminder of tonight's top stories.
Recapping the main points in the news this evening, NDC political leader Franca Alexis Bernardine resigns, citing medical concerns. Bakery employees experience moments of terror as a colleague faces threat of sexual assault at gunpoint. Police investigating discovery of a corpse at Mamacan. Another woman of Canadian descent gets top honors in the UK. This time the honor comes from the world's leading broadcast agency, the BBC, and she's been sharing her experiences with GBN's Rena Pair. Grenada listed as one of Liat's profitable routes as they prepare to get back into the Caribbean skies next Monday. Beekeepers being told to watch the trend of growing demand while production wanes. In sports, we heard that the Windies rack up 353 for 3 against New Zealand A on the opening day of the second warm-up match. And in around the globe, Trelawna Charles brought us up to date on developments in St. Lucia and Martinique, where there was an incident on the high seas. In Trinidad, there was that case of a man being brought to his funeral seated in an upright position. Gory there. And Brazil did have some developments there with anger over the killing of a black man at a supermarket. That's the network news for today, the 26th day of November 2020. It's Thanksgiving Day. We say thanks to all of you in the diaspora who continue to follow us, and to all of our listeners and viewers on K105 or social media platforms. Keep giving us your feedback. Have a good night.